Welcome to the Journal of Biophilic Design podcast. Well, welcome. We're joined today by Joanna Trishtet. She's senior consultant at Drees Sommer, and she creates healthy, user-centric workplaces. She's worked all over the place in Germany, Japan, China, Spain, and she's now in Switzerland. Obviously, that's a lot of different work cultures, so must have been an interesting period for you. Obviously, you're in Switzerland right now. So Joanna, welcome. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure.
Thanks. Can you tell us a little bit, better than I can, about what you do, maybe, and a little bit about what Drees Sommer does? Thank you.
Well, as you mentioned, I have really an international background. I worked in Japan as actually a project manager. I started there, but after that, I felt, well, no, I have to go into really the planning and designing thing. And I moved to Shanghai, where really the topic came up: how can we create healthy interior designs, interior environments, especially knowing in China, of course, it's like the polluted air is a topic and everybody knows it. And even in the indoor, you bring them in. So all my American clients, they really wanted to make sure that all their employees have a healthy indoor environment. And that time we did a lot of LEED interior, commercial interior certifications for that. And there was 2010, and it was really, really difficult to find the right materials, which really ensure a healthy indoor air quality. And it was a really interesting phase. And I thought after these 5 years doing that, we moved to Europe. And I thought, well, it's an old story. Everybody knows about it. Everything is done. No. And I came here, and especially in Switzerland, on my first construction site I walked in, I asked the contractor, okay, which kind of glue you're using, or the furniture. They checked if they have any off-gassing. And I said, I don't know. So I was really surprised that this is still a really unknown topic. So I really got back into that and really focusing on making sure that the indoor environment is really healthy.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a little bit of background of my, but focusing on that indoor and especially sustainable indoor environments. And here in Switzerland, I work for Drees Sommer. It's an international consulting company working in the building and real estate sector with the head office in Germany. And we consult, plan, and manage projects for private and public clients and investors, and of course support them in all questions relating to real estate and infrastructure. Well, we emphasize in every project we undertake on 4 aspects. It's sustainable, it's digital, it's cost efficient, and innovative. Mm-hmm. That's really the Drees Sommer kind of claim. Especially, I would like to mention in here is the Cradle to Cradle team, or EPEA, it's really an innovative partner. It's a daughter company, I think you called it, right? Yeah. For Drees Sommer. And they are as a really innovative partner for safe and environment-friendly and recyclable industrial products, buildings and urban districts. And we develop their solutions for the circular economy. So you can really bring the products back either into the nature or even into the industry to recycle them and upcycle them, not downcycle them. Mm-hmm. So there's really the aim for them is not to become less bad, but to create positive and added value for people and the environment and the business. This is one team, and which I really work closely with. And our team is the user requirements, user experience team. Mm. We are focusing on trying to get the right thing for the client or for the user, what they really need. Because most of the projects, especially construction projects, they look at the big picture, but not focusing on the user. And this is really what we head in, asking them the right questions in order to get the right thing for them and plan it for them, which is also a sustainable issue, saying, okay, if you have something what the client really and the user need, you don't need to refurbish it or rebuild it, or just after 5 years, it's done. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's not only a sustainable thing, but also for really a user experience to create it for their users the project. It can be interior or can be a new building as well.
It's really good because I found out about you first when I heard you speak at Workplace Trends a couple of months back, and you really spoke biophilically. You really spoke passionately about biophilic design and how it can enhance our workplaces. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about what biophilic design means to you specifically?
Well, biophilic design for me, it can be very simple. It can be really just adding greenery into the indoor environment. It can be even more. It can be bringing the nature in. As actually this is the point, and giving the people really a feeling of relaxation. And I see this especially in office design. When I'm walking into most of my clients' offices, is just really clean. And there's nothing of nature inside. Yeah. And I know by a couple of projects I recently finished, and you walk in and you see a little bit of nature, it really relaxes you, it relieves you a little bit, and you have the feeling you want to come into the office. A nice topic for now, having the lockdown. Most of my clients are asking, how can I get my people back to the office?
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah.
It can be simple, it can be really complex and really holistic approach, but for me, it's really bringing in the nature. Into the.
I mean, during that conference, you mentioned about plants, and you said they're like living machines, which I thought was a really, really cool phrase, actually, for great description. Yeah. Obviously, causes of bad air. I mean, you touched on it earlier, but things like plywood and glues, carpet, all these things. I mean, we also, obviously we think cigarette smoke and all that kind of thing, but they're in nail polishes, but they're actually in paints and things that you wouldn't even know about, really. Or most people wouldn't realize that things are emitting a kind of gas off them, like formaldehyde or ammonia and benzene and things, obviously linked to cancer and lung disease and sort of anaemia, even all sorts of things. I mean, for you, what is it about plants? And obviously you describe them as living machines, but can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It's actually a phrase from Rafa Wallace. Rafa Wallace is the founder of GIGA. GIGA is the Green Initiative, Green Action. It's an international organization, and they call them living machines because they don't need energy to clean the air. Whereas on the other side, we need the ventilation systems, and they need energy. Of course, plants need a good maintenance. That's always an issue. But if you take care of them, if you take really well care, it's no problem. And they don't need energy to do it, to clean the air and even give us oxygen, of course, number one. But on the top of it, they even clean our air. And I think this is one topic with it, especially in the indoor design. It's really not seen. Plants are always a decoration thing, and always comes at this last thing. Oh, we need to add some plants, a little bit of green. Then you have like small things floating around here and there, but it's decoration, but it's more than decoration. And they do more. And I think this capability of the plants is totally unseen. And it has to be more pushed and bring into the projects. I mean, most of my projects, they were always kicked out because of either their maintenance and maintenance costs, especially. And one thing is the mold. They are afraid of the mold, but if you have a good maintenance, it's a problem. So I think they need to be added by far more and see the capabilities of them.
Yeah, and it's got, because also you mentioned as well the NASA study in the presentation, which I've touched on in a previous podcast with Skogluft. But obviously they show that plants living in a confined space, people living in a confined space for a long period of time, obviously being in space capsules and in the International Space Station, that the plants obviously have a positive effect on us, obviously not just the sort of cognitive, the visual kind of aspect, but also the air quality. I mean, obviously, one of the, some of the negative, the sort of positives and negatives. I mean, it's obviously cognitive function is a big thing, isn't it? But in that NASA study, actually, you mentioned mold. One of the things, it might be worth having a revisit of that, because I want to have a look at it again. But they mention as well that that it's actually the root system and the things that are going through the soil that actually also have a beneficial effect. So when people moan about the mold, actually, it could be like, well, actually, there is a positive effect. There's the humus coming off it, So.
Yep, that's well.
Yeah, I'm not a scientist.
Well, this is really an interesting part that really scientific studies show. The NASA does it, and as well as in the US, a couple of studies going on, and they really prove that actually the roots are the workhorse on cleaning air. So not the plants, not the leaves, which are looking out what you can see, but really the roots are the one which are cleaning faster the air than the leaves. So there are really interesting innovations coming up, pushing air through the root system, and then coming out really clean air. And it's really something to look at. And they also try not even using just simple soil, but other components to really increase even this capability of cleaning the air by roots. So, and I think we really need to look at this by far more and really implementing it into the space.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and some plants are better at it than others, aren't there, really?
This is exactly on the top of it. We have like different species, and different species of the plants can clean other chemicals than the others, and even faster or lower. But mainly they have a couple of researchers going on where it's like depending on the soil or the substance you have, it is faster or not faster, and not by the species. But different species can clean different chemicals out of the air. For example, I think the ivy, for example, can clean formaldehyde perfectly, purify the air by formaldehyde. Others are better for benzene, and so on. So it's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, yeah.
And innovations are coming up, so really we need to watch out for new things, and not just with the green walls. Everybody's complaining about green walls. Not complaining, but this is a trend, and some people don't say, well, no, green wall is not really nature, and there are problems with the maintenance and so on. But there are things coming up, pushing these living machines by much faster than these ventilation systems we can bring in to the building.
Yeah, exactly. And they look a lot better than a ventilation system, let's be honest. And they don't make as much.
Yes. Yeah, as you mentioned, they even have the things of Biophilic Design, that they have a positive effect on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how do you see Biophilic Design you use in your projects? I mean, can you tell us something, maybe, and give us an example of where you've used it, maybe what the issues were, and how you use Biophilic Design to enhance it and make a change, and what the results were, maybe?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a Biophilic Design. It just really, in one project, I added a green wall.
Yeah.
And the first time I presented it to the client, I thought he will just delete it immediately out of the design, but he loved it. And it's a green wall connecting two floors. It's coming from the cafeteria going up to the second floor.
Yeah.
And the people in there really loved it. And they really say it's their green lung of their office. And they really like to meet there, to not even just eat, but just agree to talk, to even work there close to the green wall. So it has a really, really nice effect on it. And I was really, really surprised about that. Not about surprised in one hand, but it really comes a positive effect on that. Yeah. And the other project I recently just finished is we added wooden flooring, really nice oak flooring, and wooden furniture, wooden tabletops, actually. And you just walk in and you feel really, really comfortable.
Yeah.
And it has a very nice effect. And we just have some black framed glass walls, and that's it. You don't need much to do it. Couple of greeneries, yes. But you walk in and you feel really comfortable. And I really thought about, I really would love to work there. And it's a really nice, just a feeling, is it? Yeah. By simple things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true, isn't it? I mean, wood is very tactile. It's warm, and it's got character, isn't it? I think that's it. It's got character.
as well. There's also the touchy, of course, the haptic, is it?
Yeah.
But it makes it, a real difference.
Yeah. I think as in nature's nothing is like you say, like you mentioned before, like sort of clinically clean and harsh and sort of bland. It's got character. It's got knobs on and wiggly bits, and it's character. It makes us smile. It makes us happy, and as people have said, it brings us joy. It brings us that feeling inside us, that we really need, especially now, and
yes, definitely, yeah. And really important is that it's not well. As I said, the plants are most of the time just decoration. And when you walk into the office, it's just really have small plants sitting somewhere all around, so you don't really notice them. Just small pots. Yeah. But you need to make it big to have it. And not just small pots here and there. It has to be a big thing all together in one corner, and then it is nice.
Yeah. Exactly.
But as I said, this doesn't need to be much. It can be really simple but big, and then it's nice and has the effect.
Yeah, it's just like having a big sculpture in a years ago, like in the 60s or whatever, they'd go and buy a big sculpture and shove it in their hallway, in the sort of reception area, sort of stick a big tree in it. Everybody has to walk around, and sort of waterfall, with a big sort of real impact sort of statement. And also, I mean, especially like you said, trying to get people to get back to the workplace and make it homely for people.
Correct.
People in their homes generally have plants, or they might have herbs on their windowsill, or they've got a garden, or they've got an outdoor space, or they're getting, obviously more people are getting out in nature. So, office, business owners that are listening, looking to work with an interior designer, but you have to have that vision of, well, okay, we can make it more attractive for workers to come back.
Or even just changing, for example, the tabletop materials, which normally you pick white, right? But just make the wooden looking. Even it's wooden looking, this is another thing. It's like, as a designer, interior designer, you're like, oh, this kind of fake things. No, please don't. But I learned even, well, if this kind of tabletops is still okay, right? You have this laminate, which is like wooden looking. Even this helps to relax your eyes, and it relieves you much better than having this white tabletops. It's simple and not costly at all. So, this is a thing really I learned from Biophilic. It's even just the image. Even they look like wood, for example. Even I had problems. Everyone would say, if you ask me, okay, the wooden looking floor, I would, and this is kind of vinyl or whatever, I would rather say, no, but yes, it helps. Even just the look makes it, make us feel comfortable and more kind of even, and then as well as productive. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned you recently installed, you put in a large, like we do, kind of these big sort of walk-in, large scale images, like a sort of landscape, or
I'm doing right now a project with a huge print on a glass wall with big leaves. It has a very, very interesting and positive effect on the whole space. When you walk.
It becomes a feature, doesn't it? Really,
It is a feature. Is it really a thing you want to look at, and you notice? Definitely.
Yeah, as you say, it's all the different ways of doing it. You can just bring plants in, obviously, which is great for purifying the air, so there's that benefit. But for whatever reason, if you have an interior, you need to cut. Obviously, people are trying to divide things up, but printing on see-through materials like glass or acrylic or whatever else it's going to be, images, simulations of nature, simulations.
Kind of, simulated. Just simulated. It's already makes it. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to add about biophilic design in particular?
No, for me, it's really as we just talked about, even it's just the image, but the real topic to have a healthy indoor environment is really the indoor air and the quality, how to control it and how to maintain it. It's really it's not a new topic, but it's really not the public awareness is still not there. If I talk to my clients and I say, well, you need to take care of what you bring into your space. Check all the materials and check what is how the ventilation system works. Does it work well, and so on. I always say, yeah, it's okay. But interestingly, when we do surveys. Most of the time we do, before we start with the project, we do a survey how they feel now in the office and then afterwards. And if you ask them, really, the first question is, or the first answer is really the indoor environment is bad. Mm-hmm. There's not enough air, or it's too dry, or it's too cold, it's too warm. Constantly, really, the first answer is that the indoor environment is not right. So I'm wondering, how is it really the building systems they don't work well, mm-hmm. or we definitely, apparently, we really need to improve them. Mm-hmm. And then when I really finish most of the meetings with the client, I go to the basement and see they have 5 stories underground parking lots, and it's like amazing. They spend a lot of money on that, but not on a really good ventilation system or the indoor environment system. So this is really a thing that makes me sometimes really angry. It's like, come on, you can spend a lot of money for your parking lots, basements, but you don't take care of the indoor environment. It's a pity. And you drive with your private car to the office, say, well, have a nice indoor environment. No. So this is really one thing that makes me a little bit angry most of the time when I walk into these kind of buildings. We really need to improve that with living machines, or with the ventilation system, or with the right system. Actually, it is, of course, both things need to work together. Mm-hmm. It can be even manual, but it has to be right. And it has to be controlled so that people know how to use it. You need to know when to open the window, when they need to need fresh air. If you can open the window, of course, if you're the lucky one in the right, have the right outdoor air quality, you can use that as well. Yeah.
Because I read as well that you're there's a RESET, which is an international standard for air quality, and you're accredited.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So the RESET is a very interesting really certification. They are looking into indoor as well as in the ventilation systems of the buildings. And they say, okay, you need to measure it. You have to place a monitor in there, and you have to continuously measure it. Because this one spot testing of indoor air quality, which are requested by most of these sustainable building certifications, is a one spot, and you can do it, and you can really do everything to make the indoor air clean when you do the tests. As soon as you close all the windows and you start with the regular ventilation systems, the VOCs, or the pollution of the indoor air quality, goes up. Okay. So the key is really, RESET asks you to measure what is in the building happening, and you have to react on it. And as soon as you're over the limits, especially on the indoor air quality of VOCs, or formaldehyde, and particle matters, you have to do something. If you don't do that, you don't get this certification anymore. So it's really a long-lasting certification. It really shows how the building lives, not that you are just finish the construction and that's it, and they go. It has to be really continuously monitoring, and this is really key for them. That's why I'm really insisting on the RESET more than on the other certifications, because the other certifications, you get a list of things you have to follow. Yeah? You have to do this, you have to do that, and don't do this, and it's sometimes easy, sometimes really hard to follow them. But RESET says no. How you do it, it's your way. You need to make sure that the result is the right one. Okay. And we measure it and we check it.
It makes sense, really. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, you have to take care of it, do it right. And you need a consultant to do that, right? Yes. Yeah. But even we say, as Drees Sommer, you have to find your priority as well. Sustainable or healthy. Is it more you want to look for the water consumption or the energy consumption, or is it more really the healthiness for the users in the building? You make your priorities and set it up then.
Yeah. It's good. Then the onus is on the business owner, isn't it? But I suppose really, I mean, you would sort of think that both, there would somehow you'd be able to manage the two things. But having a healthy workforce means that they're more productive, that they're not going to be sick, and it's not going to cost you money, and they're going to want to come to work, which means retraining, all that kind of stuff, recruitment, HR issues, all that sort of thing is going to save you money in the end. So you may as well spend it on both things, she would say.
Definitely. If you talk about healthy indoor environment, especially in offices, of course, the sick leave.
You
have less leaves.
Yeah.
It's the money. It's really at the end the productivity of the people and the sick leaves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's hope more and more people embrace biophilic design and also bringing more plants. These lovely living machines.
Yes.
Just really kind of a final fantasy question, really. If you could paint the world or workplaces with, a biophilic or a brush of biophilia, what would they look like? What would the ideal kind of office look like? What would the world look like?
Yeah. That's an interesting question. I thought about it, and I thought it would be really nice, or a project I would love to do, right?
Yeah.
Is having really different natural feelings. Like, for example, one room would be totally like blue, like the sea. Have a fresh environment, maybe with a kind of lemon colors, but fresh and watery. Because you need something, because at the moment you're tired and you need a kind of different environment, and it's like a nature of water. And then the other space is more calm, like wooden, brown, green, like of settled colors, where you feel maybe you're in the mood, or maybe you need to concentrate or something. You really need something more homey, or you feel more comfortable environment. And then there's maybe another room or another space where you have a lot of colors, like the autumn brings, and you need kind of inspiration, but everything is somehow kind of really related to the nature, even to the different spring, autumn, summer, winter themes, or even is it the sea, or is it the mountains? Just bring really different environments where you feel, and you can choose the settings as you need it by your day. Some days you're tired, you just need something to tuck away, and you have more calm colors. Sometimes you really feel really vibrant and inspirational, and you want to walk into the autumn and a lot of colors. Something that would be really one project I would love to do. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Journal of Biophilic Design podcast.